Hey, everybody, welcome to March Madness and Conference Tourney Madness. It is Tony George along with Sean Salisbury. Breaking news this morning, Duke is out of the ACC tournament with a COVID issue, supposed to take on Florida State, so Florida State will advance unscathed. So that's interesting news. Before we get to today's pick in the Big 12 conference tournament, I wanted to give out a little promotional code that we have over at DocSports.com. And over there, when you go over, check on any handicapper's daily or weekly package on their profile page. If you click on it in any sport, you could take 25% off a daily or weekly package. And there's a promo code box. Type in T25F. T is in Tony, 25, F is in Frank. T25 F is the promo code, 25% off, and those get the free $60 link description below. That basically means you get a week of basketball for free if you've never been a member. So get over to Docs and take advantage of it here during March Madness and Conference Tourney Madness. Sean, I want to ask you a question. You are a professional athlete, and I know you played quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings once. Let's say that you played the Bears twice in your division, and you lost a couple of tight ball games, and all of a sudden in the first round, when you're fairly equal teams, first round wild card, you end up drawing them again and playing them the third time. How difficult is it for two equal teams to play three times and for somebody to sweep that series? Because that is what Tech is going to have to do against Texas Tech tonight in the Big 12.
Doesn't happen very often, Tony, and the fact that just pure knowledge of your opponent, if you're on the losing side and say, okay, they got us twice, as long as you can stay mentally tough with them and say, okay, they got us twice, but here's the reasons. And on the other side, you can get comfortable in saying, well, we beat them twice. We're supposed to beat them again with this Texas Tech-Texas thing. You know, and the irony of it is with Texas Tech, even though they're a lower seed, a lot of people like them in this in this basketball game. But I would probably think, and it happened this year in football too, the eventual Super Bowl champion. Two times the Saints had put it on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home and on the road and embarrassed them in one of them, and then all of a sudden they get to the playoffs, different story. So it is so difficult. Tony, it's difficult to win any game. You'll take them and get them, but to do it and beat a team three times, Texas is playing, it's a very difficult task. And you know that goes in with that pride and ego and motivation of not a third time, son. And I'm sure Texas is thinking that. Texas has played really good basketball the last three games of the season. Texas Tech is so well coached. Texas is shooting the ball out of their mind right now, Tony, from long range. And that's what's keeping them in it. They're going to have to do that again to beat Texas Tech. And this is why we talked about about a week and a half ago, why Shaka Smart's the Texas Longhorn coach. It's moments like that. Let's see. Show us. Show us. Are you the Texas Longhorns football team of the last few years? Or are you the way Shaka was when he got this job and saying, here's what we expect and the expectations? This is one hell of a Big 12 matchup in an early part of this tournament.
Yeah, and if you take a look at it here, when you have two teams evenly matched, so you take a look at the last five games on defense. Texas has allowed 67, Tech 64. On offense, the last five games, they've both scored 72 points. A couple of things here in Texas's favor. Texas is getting 1.5 points, and the total is 134.5. You take a look at this. If you look at Tech's against the spread record, forget the mainstream approach. Let's look at the gambling. They're 6-15 against the spread, their last 21, and 4-13 against the spread, their last 17 against a team with a winning record. And Sean, you hit the nail on the head here. If you're looking for a mismatch in this game between two teams that deemed on paper are relatively even, Ken Palm has them rated dead even on a power rating. So where's the mismatch? Where can you find an edge against the line? Well, I'll tell you what it is. Texas Tech is the worst perimeter defense, three-point defense in the Big 12. And as you alluded to, Sean, Texas is nailing them from outside. They're hot with their perimeter game. Their guards are dialed in. I think it's a difference in the ball game. They're down 0-2, and they have not forgotten the 9-point beating they took just back on February 27th to lose 2 in a row. They lost by 1 at home. So Texas Tech is 2-0 straight up and against the spread. But the glaring mismatch is here the perimeter defense against Texas's hot hand right now, Sean. I think that's difference in the ball game. That's why I'm going to take Texas.
Yeah, and what's interesting about this, Tony, is I think by the end of the season, I was looking at some numbers. Well, they don't defend the three-point line well, and they don't shoot it well. They get to the free throw a lot, meaning Texas Tech. I think a lot of it's going to have to do, can they draw fouls and get to the charity stripe? I mean, they'll shoot 30 free throws, 28 free throws, 25 free throws, and they got to make them. And that'll be very prevalent in the basketball game if Texas Tech's going to win. And here's the irony. I think Texas Tech, by the end of the season, was still, to my knowledge, leading the Big 12 in scoring defense, yet beyond the arc, they don't defend it. So which Texas team, if Texas shoots well, Texas wins this game. And Tony, you got Texas in this, and I have a tendency to go the hottest hand. I'm going to take the odds here too. I like Texas in a game, but I'm not real comfortable with it because Texas Tech is so well coached, and so is Texas. But if Texas hot hand continues, they're going to win the game. I'm with you. I'm going to lean towards Texas. There was a time when I was thinking about it last night and thinking about it this morning. I thought, damn, they know something. The Red Raiders 3 times. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think this is a down-to-the-wire game and nobody getting blown out in this game, and it's going to take either free throws missed or made by Texas Tech and a knockdown 3 at the end somewhere down the stretch by Texas. This is a field goal game or 2 field goals or a three-pointer. I'm going to give Texas the edge slightly in this ball game to get to 1-2 against Texas Tech.
Last 5 games, Sean, and you're right. This is a 1.5-point spread. I'm going to lean Texas here. Has a high potential for overtime as well. In my opinion, it's going to be right down the wire. The over 134.5 might be worth a sniff here. They're both scoring 142 combined their last 5 games. But another difference maker leaning towards Texas here. Last 5 games, they shot 77% from the line. Texas Tech 67%. So they have a 10% edge there as well. And we're talking maybe 1 or 2 or 3 free throws is the difference between a win and a loss in this ball game. That also leans towards Texas. Folks, be sure and get over to DocSports.com. Get yourself the free $60 account. Don't forget about the 25% discount on any package from any handicapper, daily or weekly package. T25F is your promo code. And Sean and I, check out our other video here. We're talking about Sean's alma mater, the USC Trojans, in another free play. Be sure and tune into that one.